Hi everyone, in this video we would be learning about HTTP polling. So by the end of this video you will be able to answer any questions related to the topics which I have mentioned over here. So let's get started. So let's start with the short polling. So short polling is divided into two types. The first one is fixed interval short polling and the second one is sequential short polling. So currently we are looking at fixed interval short polling. Now, before even explaining this, let me clear that why exactly we need polling on the first hand. So we need polling because the client wants the update from the server in real time, right? We do not want our users to click on the refresh button. We want to update their UI in real time. So that's the reason we use this polling, whether it is short or long, right? So let's start with this fixed interval. So in this fixed interval short polling, what we do is this client will keep on asking for the update from this server at a fixed interval like this. Like after 500 millisecond, it will ask the same question again and again. All right. And the server will obviously going to respond to that question, whether there is update or not. If there is no update, so it will say no, else it will say yes. Right. But there is one problem over here. So as you can see, for the first request, the server was able to respond within 500 millisecond, right? But for the second request, the server was not able to answer within 500 millisecond. Instead, before even server answered to the question, to the second question, the third request was fired. And this is a drawback, because if I am asking you a question and you are trying to answer me that question and I again ask you the same question, is it good or not? Obviously not good, right? So that's the problem in fixed interval short polling, and this can be solved using sequential short polling. So in sequential short polling, we wait for the answer from the server. Once we get the answer from the server, then only we start the timer. For example, 500 millisecond. So your client will wait for 500 millisecond, and after that it will ask the same question again. And again the server will try to answer to your question. Right. So once the server answers to your question, again we have to wait for 500 millisecond, and then only you can ask the question. Okay. So that's the subtle difference between the fixed interval and the sequential short polling. All right. And to be honest, in whichever application you see short polling, that is nothing but the sequential short polling because of the drawback which is present in the fixed interval short polling. All right. So now let us see one example of the sequential short polling. So currently we are on this LeetCode platform and I've already written the solution for this particular problem. So now let's click on this run button in order to run this code. So over here you can observe that several APIs are triggered, right? So the first one over here is basically sending your code and all the metadata like sample test cases, the language and the ID of the question. Okay, so all these things is sent to the backend where your code will be executed, right? And what the backend will do is it will first create one submission ID and it will directly return that submission ID to you. So point to note over here is it has not yet started running the code. Okay. So once the submission ID is with the client, what the client can do is it will start the polling. Why? Why the client needs to do polling? Because this particular UI needs to be updated in real time, isn't it? So that's the reason why client will start polling, short polling, that to sequential short polling. So first, this particular API will be triggered and we will wait for the response of this API. Okay. And once we find out that the response is not the desired response, that is, it is not yet accepted or rejected, then in that case, we will again call this check API. Okay. We will do so until we get the desired response, which is accepted. So I hope with this one thing is cleared, that what is a short polling and why do we need short polling. All right. So I have one question for you, that is, If short polling is able to get the real-time update from the server, then what is the need for learning long polling? The answer is quite simple. In the short polling, we are going to ask this question after every 500 millisecond, or basically a short duration, right? So we will keep on asking this question to the server. But let's assume that the server is not going to get the update for the next 120 seconds. Then in that case, we are just disturbing the server by asking the same question after every 500 millisecond, isn't it? So we are basically creating unnecessary load on the server, and that's the drawback. And this drawback can be solved using long polling. All right. So short polling is generally used when you are sure that you'll get the desired response after 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, etc. Like LeetCode. But for Dropbox example, which I'm going to show you in a while, in that case, short polling is definitely not good. So in long polling, the client will again ask the same question, but this time it will also provide this timeout. That is, it will tell the server that, hey, I don't want to increase the load on you. So what I will do is I will give you 30 seconds. If at all you get any update within 30 seconds, then directly tell me that you received one update. All right. If you did not get any update, then at the end of the 30 seconds, just tell me that you did not get any update. So over here, when this client requested for the first time, the server waited for some update, but unfortunately it was not able to get any update. So at the end of the 30th second, it responded with no, indicating that it did not receive any update. And once the client received this response, it will immediately fire another request with the same question. And this time the server got the update after 20th second. So what the server will do is it will immediately give this update to the client, and then client can obviously update the UI. Okay. So I hope with this you understood what is long polling. Now let's try to understand this with the help of couple of examples. So currently I'm on the official website of Dropbox, wherein they provide various APIs for the developers. And one such API over here is to basically monitor an account for file changes. And they have also given the definition of the long polling, wherein the connection is basically kept open until the server responds with the update or the timeout occurs. And this is the API which you can call and also pass the timeout. So over here we have passed the timeout as 30 seconds. It means that the server will try to find the update for 30 seconds, and if at all it gets the update, it will respond to us by setting this flag as true. And if it does not get any update for timeout seconds, then obviously it can set this to false. Okay. So based on this, the client can do some action, right? So this is how the Dropbox uses or basically provides this API to the developers so that they can monitor and account for the file changes. Another example is this Telegram bot API, wherein you can create the bot on the Telegram using several functions given by the Telegram. And one of the function is get updates functions. So this get update function basically uses long polling under the hood. So we already saw that for long polling, we need to pass the timeout, right? So this is the timeout parameter which you'll pass to this function, and it would be in seconds. All right. And if you choose to send 0 as the timeout, it means that you are opting for short polling. To be precise, you are opting for sequential short polling. Why sequential short polling? Because if you decide to send timeout as 0 seconds, then in that case, you are just asking the question and telling the server to give the response, which we did in the sequential short polling, right? And in sequential short polling, we had some delay between the request response cycle, right? Over here. So we can assume that that delay is 0 seconds. Okay. So this is how the long polling with 0 seconds is nothing but the sequential short polling. With this, I hope you understood why we use polling and what is short and long polling, and also the different types of short polling. We also saw what is the difference between short and long polling and various examples of short and long polling. So if you found this video helpful, then please like and share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching.